BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Thank you for downloading The Why Factor from the BBC, the programme that asks why we do the things we do.
Here we are, Ben, in the rain, in the wind, just to get the miles in.
Yeah, well, just because it's bad weather, we still need to be out.
And you've got your self-tracking device on as well.
So I've got my bike computer on, as I always do.
How integral is that machine to you then?
Pretty integral. If I didn't record a ride, I'd feel like something was missing.
Ben Dowman is out with his Kendal Cycle Club friends in the north of England. As they start on their ride, the noise of the pouring rain is accompanied by the bleeping of the devices as they press record. In a world increasingly obsessed with health, the fitness technology market is booming. Whether you're an endurance runner like me or just enjoy a casual run or cycle around your local park on a Sunday morning, it seems more and more of us are using fitness trackers to capture our efforts.
The main things I would measure would be, how far I've ridden the distance, how fast I've gone. I always wear a heart rate monitor. So currently as we're riding along, I'm 137 beats per minute. I can see it on the screen in real time in front of me as I'm talking to you.
We're going up a hill now. And you're just spinning along and I'm just, pushing.
Yeah, welcome to the Lake District, Larry.
What a welcome.
For the BBC World Service, I'm Lowry Morgan. And on the Why Factor today, what's the motivation for measuring every aspect of a workout? Can it inspire us to go further, faster or longer? Sharing our performances online allows us to compete virtually with pretty much anyone across the globe. But does it risk turning every training session into a race?
Oh, car.
I'm really enjoying this bike ride.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I'm really enjoying it.
Ben Dowman is a psychologist and performance coach. He's also a self-confessed fitness app addict. With a growing range of specific products to take training and racing to the limit, Ben and many of his fellow cyclists regard their fitness devices as an indispensable part of their equipment, as essential as a puncture repair kit. But why?
I think there's a lot of reasons. So there's just part of me that likes to know what I've done, so just to keep track of it. So at the end of the year I can see how many miles I've ridden. I also really like the social aspect of being able to share activities. So when I upload it, then of course all my friends can see what I've done and I can see what they've done. All of us, for a relatively small amount of money, can buy a device that gives us access to a vast amount of metrics that allow us to really know how well we're improving, how well we're doing, and I think that's something that people really like.
Today, it's not only about racing against clubmates, but against the online community, your digital rivals. Once the data is uploaded, you're rewarded with a wealth of information. Everything from your mileage and average speed to your heart rate and how many calories you've burnt. The next step for most of us is to share our achievements online with friends and followers and wait for their feedback or kudos. American James Quall says this was vital to his recent training program.
Take my marathon training. It was 18 weeks. It's 5 days a week. I have a young family, so a lot of that training happened at 5 in the morning. I would get back home and it was still dark outside. And the sharing for me was lots of validation and recognition of my effort. I had been out, people had seen it, people understood. It was cold, the alarm rang and it was still dark. And all of that doubt, self-doubt that emerges in the training plan, it's helpful to have people there to power you forward.
He would say that because he's the Chief Executive Officer of Strava, one of the leading activity trackers. With more than 36 million members around the world, the company says it's currently adding an extra million users every 30 days. Why does he think they've caught on?
The overarching reason that I think people use it is the motivation. You see this long-term interest of the quantification in journaling for your own self. People for the longest time, lots of runners have kept these hand-scribbled notes about their time, their pace, and their distance. And that progress bar is incredibly useful. I think the second thing that people really value in these trackers is the accountability of declaring a goal to a group of people. The third aspect, and I think Strava has been very good at doing this, but people like to compete. We have a thing called segments, and it takes small bits of road and turns them into, if you're a runner or if you're a cyclist, the opportunity to compete with others who are your gender, maybe in your age group, and see how did your performance compare to your mates, your friends. And then the fourth is just the documentation of something that had happened. So I think those all ladder up back to what I said at the beginning, that those all motivate people.
Oh, hang on, we've got mechanical.
Mechanical. Has that come up on the computer? What's going to happen now? Is it panic?
It's okay.
Do you stop the
I've got it
computer?
set to auto stop, don't worry, Larry, because I wouldn't want to forget to stop it myself. So I've got it set up so it pauses automatically. That was that little beep.
Back on the ride with Kendal Cycle Club, one of the members, also called Ben, has had a puncture and we've all slowed down to a stop. But Ben Dowman has set his device to pause automatically, so his average speed won't be affected.
It wouldn't be a bike ride without someone getting a punch and everyone standing around trying to fix it as a group. I'll get Ben home.
Kendal Cycle Club has more than 600 members, as well as jostling between teammates to be at the top of the club's weekly leaderboard. These apps, the likes of Garmin Connect, Mark My Run, Endomondo and the multitude of others, bring together a wider and a more informal international association of cyclists and runners. They've allowed Ben to connect with a niche group of virtual cycling friends around the world. He's now met up with them in the real world.
We just started chatting. It was a kind of good, healthy, friendly level of competition. And then actually we ended up meeting up and going out for a ride together. So and they become friends. So it was really nice. And the other thing that's nice is if I go away, perhaps to Spain or to France cycling, sometimes when you're out you meet people on the road, and then I'll often just connect up with them. I'm going to go left here. And it's a way of staying in touch.
So, does having access to a bigger cohort of competitors with shared interests motivate some to become better athletes? Years ago, the only way to compete was to race. These trackers have totally changed that competitive landscape. Now, individuals can get noticed without the need to go to races.
We've got a development program. So the tracking device, it helps us identify the talented guys from everybody else, because when it's recorded, then it's there for us to use at any time.
Bukla Matsala is General Secretary of a cycling club in the South African township of Soweto. The club has been going for 4 years and has around 70 members. She says they're using the data gathered on their best riders to try to convince sponsors and professional cycling teams that the riders are worth backing.
In South Africa, I'm talking now specifically with cycling, there's still the legacy to try and justify why black people are taking part in cycling, because predominantly it's still classified as previously a white sport. So we've actually tried to present our case to your big corporates that in South Africa are supporting cycling, like Discovery and all those guys, to kind of say that let us feed into your professional teams our riders that come from our development that we have obviously monitored and follow in tracking their performance in the development that we are doing for them. So when we can present numbers that are verifiable, that are reliable, it makes our cause and our fight much more easy, because we don't have to keep telling stories. We can just present statistics around why we feel that we have the edge.
So I suppose some of them might not be able to afford the racing fees, so their race and their platform to show how fast they are these self-tracking devices.
Yes, exactly that.
In Mongolia, blown my mind. It's just unbelievable.
In a homemade video, In a remote part of Mongolia, an elated Jenny Graham updates her followers on her world record attempt.
You know, people have been stopping and like passing me biscuits out their car window. Like part of me is like, oh my God, do I look really desperate? Like, do I look like I can't look after myself? But it's not.
At the end of last year, 37-year-old Jenny from Scotland broke the women's round-the-world cycling record, crossing the globe self-supported in just 124 days, breaking the previous record by 19 days. Jenny covered over 18,000 miles on the road and was tracked and followed all the way by online supporters.
Most of the time I was out there, and especially in the sort of remote areas with my GPS spot tracker, people knew exactly where I was and were vocal about that and would get in touch with me, and I could use that for extra strength, you know, if I was finding it tough to keep going.
On top of her main goal, she also set herself additional interim online challenges to give her an extra push.
1 month I was chasing the most miles cycled in the month. That definitely kept me going. For a couple of nights I wanted to stop early, and I was like, I'll just do 1 more hour because that'll get me to the top. Despite
her amazing achievement, Jenny was remarkably still annoyed with not getting recognition for winning that monthly challenge. She told me she was disappointed when she hadn't received a congratulatory message from the self-tracking app she was using. When she submitted her results at the end of that particular month, she was on top of the leaderboard, beating more than 260,000 other people. So, how far exactly had she gone? I asked her to look it up.
I've not looked at this. This will be fun. Oh, no. It doesn't look like I got it. Or maybe that's why I didn't get a message. So September cycling distance challenge. A guy, Michael's come in with another 200 kilometres on top of me. So you had 3 days to put in your stats, like after September was finished. And he must have come in on the last day and I didn't check it. I've not actually won it.
You'll have to go back out.
Oh man, that's so annoying. Actually, it's not even 200, it's like 120 kilometres more. So I went for 6,993 kilometres and he went for 7,117. I came second. Yeah, maybe that could be my next challenge, distance in the month challenge.
Are we now becoming reliant on validation to give us a sense of achievement or recognise our own self-worth? And what impact can it have on us if we're constantly judging our own and others' performances? Nir Ayal is a business consultant who helps companies design more engaging products. He says fitness apps appeal to some of our most basic human instincts.
There's a few different psychological motivators going on here. There's a well-researched theory called self-determination theory, which posits that all humans have these 3 key pillars of motivation, loosely described as the need for mastery, autonomy, and purpose, or connectedness. And so when you think about what an app or a fitness product might provide for us, this need to connect with others is a primal human need. It's part of what makes our species so unique, that we can cooperate with each other. And then, of course, there's this need for mastery, this need to see progress and control and exert agency over our environment. Again, these are fundamental core human needs that, for many folks, are satiated through these products and devices.
Are self-tracking apps designed to hook us in then?
Sure. I think that's exactly what they're built to do. I think with a fitness app, it might be logging an activity or sharing it with a friend or commenting on a friend's activity. Any of these things are forms of investment that make us more likely to continue that behavior, but also actually enhance our enjoyment of that behavior as well.
There's a fascination with data. But can it become an obsession, constantly trying to beat the time from your last run or that of an online rival, turning what should be an easy session into a race?
I interviewed people who had gone out for a long run and they'd run along by the river and they'd enjoyed it and it'd been a beautiful morning. And they'd got back and they'd uploaded their data online and they saw that other people had run further and that somebody else had run faster. And they said they felt like their whole morning had been a waste of time. And they felt like a failure because they hadn't done as much or gone as fast. And at that point, it's when it gets really hard for people.
Dr. Josie Perry is a sports psychologist who studied the effects of the use of devices on endurance athletes like me. She says nearly all those she interviewed wore devices, and the more technology they use, the more risk they are of exercise addiction.
For people that have perfectionistic tendencies, tech can be quite dangerous because they're really, really trying to push certain figures and certain data the whole time. It can get quite harmful that people end up doing extra miles, far more than, say, their coach has suggested, because they want to get up to a round number. And you'll often hear people joking about how they've had to run up and down their street to get to an exact mileage so it looks good on their watch. Or you'll get people doing online challenges of, I'm going to cycle 500 miles between the Christmas period. And so when they should be enjoying time with friends and family, and actually the weather's not been great, they're going out to do miles and miles on their bike that aren't actually beneficial to them. They're just doing this arbitrary challenge they found online.
So I'm picking up speed now till I enter the segment as fast as I can. There we go. We're off. It says go. 2 seconds ahead.
Back in the northwest of England, Ben Dowman is going for a challenge. He's taking on a short climb to see if he can get the fastest recorded time for that stretch of road, or, as it's more grandly known on his app, as King of the Mountain for that segment.
Well, that was hard. That was really hard. My bike computer is saying that I got it, I think, by 3 or 4 seconds. I won't know the actual result until I get home and upload the ride, at which point I'll know for sure.
The competition to top these online leaderboards is a major reason why Ben uses these apps. And he admits, in the past, it did become something of an obsession, even picking the most favourable weather conditions in his quest to claim the title.
Larry, I used to have a spreadsheet, and I had the segments that I was interested in getting listed under the wind direction that I would need to have the best chance of getting them, so that when I was going out for a ride, if I saw, okay, it's a northeasterly wind today, I could very quickly just go to, oh, those are the segments I want to get. And because of course it's much better to have a tailwind behind you when you're going to go and get a segment. So yeah, I would always make sure that if I'm going to go for a Strava segment, always have a wind behind me. And I could tell you, what segments would be good to go and get today. We've got a southerly wind today. It's actually a very good wind today because it's quite strong.
Do you think it's addictive then?
I definitely think it can be addictive, and there can be an unhealthy element to it for some people. I do remember once, it was a few years ago, and I was just going out for dinner with my girlfriend at the time, and just as we were going out, I got a notification on my phone saying that one of my favourite King of the Mountains had been taken off me, and I really didn't enjoy the evening. So actually we had to have a conversation then, and that was when I had to turn the notifications off, because we decided it wasn't good for our relationship.
There can be other downsides to these apps too. Sharing all that personal data online can have risks.
So a number of fitness apps now, they have the opportunity for you to share your daily steps with friends, with colleagues, or with other people that you don't even know. And the idea is that you kind of have leaderboards. The idea is it's a little bit more of competition, it's more kind of engagement, and that actually pushes people to even share more and engage more and interact more, unfortunately without considering the risks associated with this level of interaction.
Dr. Jason Nurse is a cybersecurity expert from Kent University in the UK. He says the fact that anyone can pinpoint where you do your training could be putting people in danger.
So if you can think of GPS and let's say a smartwatch or one of the other devices and them tracking your runs, then you're potentially sharing this online to potential friends, potential followers, even in the context of these leaderboards like I mentioned. Then one real issue is that, well, if someone recognizes that you start a run at a particular place and you end a run at a particular place, then immediately someone can actually assume that's potentially where you live. They could try to use that against you. Maybe they know, for example, when you're not at home, for them, that's a perfect time to burgle your home or to commit some crime. Or they can even target you directly, and they know that a particular time during a particular week, you tend to run by yourselves in a particularly isolated location. So all of these are kind of issues or risks that you're putting yourself at by kind of sharing so much when it comes to fitness apps.
So you're finding that the need to share actually overrides safety concerns?
I think that sometimes for many people it does.
Oh, thank you very much. I really enjoyed that. Teamwork.
Yeah, that was a nice pace, that, wasn't it?
My ride with Kendal Cycle Club has come to an end, cut short by heavy rain. But there is one very important thing left to do. Time to upload the ride.
So, big question. Have you all clocked your mileage, your times? Is it
just
in the computer?
Just saving it.
Karen's just uploading. What have you called your ride, Karen?
BBC World Service. We did have a little bit of drama in the middle, didn't we?
Yeah, so Ben got a puncture halfway along.
He forgot to put his device back on after the puncture.
Yeah. I wasn't as organised as the other Ben here who's got the auto pause set up, so it's not restarted, so the whole journey back won't have been recorded. If it was a bigger ride, I might be a bit disappointed, but I think I can manage without 10 minutes in the rain on the way home.
And are you going to title this ride slower because you were dragging a BBC journalist with you?
We might have to put some sort of comment on there just to explain the average speed. Yeah, Larry, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't want people thinking that was me trying hard.
He might be joking, or he might not. But with it being uploaded, this particular ride will be documented forever for everyone to judge. And depending on your opinion, that could be a good or a bad thing. One thing is for certain though, this technology means that exercising is evolving into something new. I'm Larry Morgan and this was The Y Factor. The producer was Paul Grant and our editor was Gail Champion. If you've enjoyed this episode, you might like listening to our programmes on running and Why Do Men Want Six Packs on bbc.co.uk/Y Factor.
Just check that you've got data on here. Okay, stop pedalling now. Stop pedalling. Let your bikes close down. In 2, in 1, and go. Good luck, everybody. Go.
Kendal Cycle Club finished the day with a race indoors, with the computer screens in front of them. Every pedal stroke and heart rate is being recorded as they compete against each other, as well as the virtual world beyond the gym's four walls.
That's it. Everyone's on the uphill slope now.
Ben, how are you feeling? You're slipping. You're losing the title here.
Unfortunately, I've got young Ben next to me, who is 20 years my younger. I'd like to point out I'm struggling to keep up with him.
We've done the hard bit. I shouldn't be getting beaten by somebody of Ben's age over here.
I'm Steve Crossman, and I'm a sports reporter for the BBC.
Real Madrid suffering their heaviest ever home defeat.
But when I stumbled across a box of cassette tapes, I ended up on the trail of a triple murder.
I would have died right there in the streets in a hail of bullets.
Did the boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter murder 3 people in 1966?
Nobody wanted the truth of my findings to come out.
I've tracked down almost everyone involved, and by the end of the series, we might just have an answer to a case that's been unsolved for over 50 years.
If you want my truth, I'm going to give you my truth. But if you want some type of kumbaya story, you're not going to get that from me, and maybe I'm not the person that you want to speak with.
The Hurricane Tapes, a brand new podcast from the BBC World Service. Find it wherever you found this podcast.